Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the term solution. In the previous class, a term has been clear to you, homogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture was when components are uniformly mixed with each other. Now today's term, that is solution. Solution is the homogeneous mixing of two or more than two components. For example, you have learned the example of homogeneous mixture also, that is the same example in the case of solution. The first one you have learned about lemonade. Lemonade was a mixing of water, sugar and lemon, and you might have seen these three components are uniformly evenly mixed with each other. Second example of homogeneous mixture was soda water. Soda water is a mixing of water and carbon dioxide gas and sugar, and that all components are uniformly mixed with each other. One more example you can take here, salt solution, the mixing of water and salt, and you have seen, you can clearly see this thing ki salt and water are evenly and uniformly mixed with each other. So these three examples, which were the example of homogeneous mixture, now they are also example of solution. Now we talk about components of solution. Solution has two components. One is solvent, the name is solvent, and the second one is solute. Solvent is that component of solution which is present in larger amount in the solution, and the second one, that is solute, that is present in small amount as compared to the other component. Or you can say that solvent is the medium of the solution in which you are dissolving the other component, and solute is that component of solution which is dissolvable in solvent. Now you see this table. This table has four examples of solution. First one, lemonade. Second is soft drink. Third one, tincture of iodine. And fourth one is air. So can you differentiate, can you identify the solvent and solute of these four solutions? Since I told you solvent which is present in larger amount and the solute which is present in small amount. On the basis of this point, you can identify solvent and solute of these four solutions. Let us discuss first one, lemonade. So lemonade is a mixing of water, sugar and lemon. Which one is present in more amount? Obviously water. So water will become solvent, and the other things like sugar and lemon, it will be solute for the solution lemonade. Second one, soft drink, or you may say it is a soda water. So soda water or soft drink is a combination of sugar, carbon dioxide gas and water. But what's the present in larger amount? Again it is water. And carbon dioxide and sugar is present in a less amount as compared to solvent water. Third one, it is tincture of iodine. Tincture of iodine is a medicine used as an antiseptic on wounds. It is a mixing of alcohol and iodine. Here alcohol is a medium, so it will become solvent, and iodine is solute. So this tincture of iodine has solvent, that is alcohol, and solute, that is iodine. Fourth one is air. Since you know that air is a homogeneous mixing of so many gases like nitrogen, oxygen and water droplets or any other gases. So air, here solvent, the solvent will be that gas which will be present in the maximum amount, that is nitrogen. So nitrogen will become the solvent in the case of air, and other gases will become solute in case of air. So after explaining the term solution, now we will discuss the properties of solution. So according to the definition of solution, the first property of solution is it is a homogeneous mixture. Second property, the particle of a homogeneous mixture or the particle of solution cannot be seen by naked eye. Since they are very small, they cannot be seen by naked eye. Can you see the particle of lemonade by your naked eye? Can you see the particles of tincture of iodine by your naked eye? Because the size of the particle of solution is very small and it is less than 1 nanometer. The diameter of the particle is less than 1 nanometer. Third point, since they are very small in size, so they can't scatter light. When light is passing through the solution, they can't scatter light. They can't disperse the path of light. Fourth one, solution cannot be separated by filter paper. When you use simple rough filter paper to separate the component of solution, it is not comfortable here. Since particles are very small, so you can't separate the component of solution by using simple filter paper. So these four are the properties of solution. Next topic, types of solution. There are various types of solution based upon various things. The first classification is based upon nature of solvent. First one, aqueous, and second one is non-aqueous. These two type of mixture is related to the nature of solvent. The word aqueous meaning water. If we are taking solvent, only water, then that solution is named as aqueous solution. If we are taking solvent only water, then solution is known as aqueous solution. And in the case of non-aqueous one, if we are taking any other solvent, any other than water, then that solution is known as non-aqueous. Take care of these points. They both are homogeneous mixture. They both are well dissolvable with each other. The components are dissolvable in each other in aqueous as well as in non-aqueous. But they are different in the nature of solvent. The first one, the solvent is water always. And the second one, we may take any other solvent. So in the previous video, in the previous explanation, there were 4 examples of solution. The first one, lemonade, and then tincture of iodine, and then air, and one more was there. Can you judge which one out of these was aqueous and non-aqueous? Aqueous was lemonade because medium and the solvent was water. And any other? Soda water. They both were aqueous solution. They both were named as aqueous solution. And the non-aqueous was tincture of iodine because medium is alcohol, because solvent is taken alcohol. And second one, air, where solvent was gas. Second classification of the type of solution is basically depends upon physical state of solute and solvent. Physical state means solute may be taken as solid, liquid or gases. The same thing in the case of solvent. We may take solute, solid, liquid, gas, and we may take solvent, solid, liquid and gas. So depending upon this criteria, there are 9 type of solutions. But in our syllabus till today, we will discuss only 2 type of solution depending upon the physical state of solute and solvent. The first one is solid and liquid. Here, solid is solute and the liquid is solvent. So can we take the example of sugar and water? Here sugar which is solid and acting as a solute, and water which is solvent acting as a water which is liquid acting as a solvent. The second example we may take here, salt in water. The same thing it is, salt is in solid state and water is in liquid state. So these two are the example of the type of solution comes in the category solid in liquid. Second category basically depends upon the physical state, gas in liquid. So gas should be solute and the liquid should be solvent. So the first one example again, soda water. Where soda water, where main basic solvent is water. So solvent is a liquid and solute which is carbon dioxide. Second example in this category, oxygen dissolves in H2O. Since oxygen dissolves in H2 water always, so the oxygen, the amount of oxygen that is less than as compared to the water. So this oxygen gas will become solute and the water will become solvent. So these two are the types of the solution, category of the solution depending upon physical state of solute and solvent. Third category depends upon amount of solute. So depending upon amount of solute, there are three types of solution. The solution named as saturated, unsaturated, and the third one is super saturated. So what is saturated solution? When we are going to start a solution, for example, we are dissolving sugar in water. So a time will come where no more amount of sugar can be dissolvable in water. At that point is known as saturated point of solution. So saturated solution can be defined as when no more amount of solute can be dissolvable in a particular amount of solvent at a particular temperature. Take care of one point here. In a particular amount of solvent and a particular temperature, when no more solute can be dissolvable, that solution is named as saturated solution. Next one, unsaturated. Of course, it is the opposite of the term saturated. So when you are dissolving an amount of solute in a solvent and it easily dissolvable in that solvent at a particular temperature in a particular amount of solvent, then the solution is named as unsaturated. Both these two are the opposite of each other. In the case of saturated, no more solute can be dissolvable at that time, and unsaturated, the solute is getting dissolvable in the solvent. Third one is supersaturated. Supersaturated category meaning what amount of solute is dissolvable in 100 gram of solvent to make it saturated solution. It means that how much amount of solute can be mixed in only 100 gram of solvent to reach up to the point that no more amount of solute can be dissolved in the 100 gram of solvent. That prepared solution is termed as supersaturated solution. Now saturated solution can be convertible into unsaturated one with the help of two ways. The first one by addition of solvent, more amount of solvent can be added there, and by increase in temperature. Increase in temperature meaning you are starting giving heat to the solution. So by addition of more solvent, more amount of solute is just starting to get soluble in the solvent. And by increase in temperature, by giving heat to the solution, again the more amount of solute is just starting to dissolve in the given amount of solvent. So if we just more amount of solute is just starting to dissolve in the solvent, so you may see the saturated solution is convertible to unsaturated ones. Now the term solubility. Solubility means the maximum amount of solute that is dissolvable in 100 gram of solvent as a particular amount of solvent to form a saturated solution. You can calculate the maximum amount of solute that is soluble in a particular amount of solvent to make it saturated solution. Now what is the effect of temperature and pressure on the solubilities of solution? The first one, the effect of temperature. The effect of temperature means if you increase the temperature, as I explained here also, if you increase the temperature, there will be increase in the solubility. Solubility meaning increase in the dissolvable amount of solute in a particular amount of solvent. So when we increase the temperature, there will be increase the solubility of solid in liquid and vice versa. Vice versa meaning decrease in temperature, decrease the solubility of solid in liquid. We can prove this statement by taking example. For example, we take a 1 glass of cold water and 1 glass of hot water, and you are instructed to dissolve amount of sugar, random amount of sugar in cold water as well as in hot water. So you might have identified that more amount of sugar can be dissolvable in hot water. So basically factor which is applicable here, increase in temperature. The hot water has more temperature as compared to the cold water. So it is increase the solubility of the sugar in water. Second thing, increase in pressure. Increase in pressure, pressure has no effect in the case of solid and liquid. The example is sugar in water or salt in water. But pressure has an important role in the case of solubilities of gas in liquid. There is a more prominent effect of pressure on gases. So if we apply more amount of pressure on gas, the more amount of gas is soluble in the liquid. The same, if we decrease the amount of pressure, it will decrease the solubility of gas in liquid. You might have seen there is a cup on the top of the bottle of any soda drink, any soda water. It means it is a pressure acting upon that water. If you release it, then pressure is getting decreased and the amount of air, amount of CO2 which is dissolved in that water, which will escape out. Third point, increase in temperature. Temperature has also important role in the case of gases and liquid. Since increase in gas meaning increase in kinetic energy of the particles. So if we increase in temperature, there will be increase in kinetic energy of gases. So it will be more difficult to dissolve a particular amount of gas in a particular amount of liquid. So you may conclude that the increase in temperature, it will decrease the solubility of gases in liquid. Type of solution, the second category, which is based upon the physical state of solute in solvent. Physical state means solid, liquid and gaseous state. So based upon these three physical states of solute and solvent, which we can categorize solution in 9 types, but now we will discuss only 3 types till today. The first one, solid in liquid. How solid is solute and liquid is solvent. So these are 2 examples here, sugar and water and salt and water. Now sugar is solute and water is solvent. The salt is solute and water is solvent. The second type of solution, depending upon the physical state of solute and solvent, gas and liquid. Again here, gas is solute and liquid is solvent. First example, carbon dioxide and water, they are easily dissolvable with each other. The very best example is a soft drink, cold drink, you may name it as a cold drink also, and oxygen and water. Since you know that oxygen is dissolvable in water also. So these 2 are the examples of this category, gas and liquid. Third category, liquid and liquid. So here liquid and liquid means the solute is also liquid and solvent is also liquid. Then how will you judge which one is solute and which one is solvent? You will judge solute and solvent with example of with given amount of alcohol and water. For example, alcohol and water, they are making a solution of liquid and liquid, and their amount will be given to you. On the basis of that amount, you may judge which one is solute and which one is solvent. Second example, acetone and water. Again, with a given amount of solute and solvent, then you judge which one is solute and which one is solvent. So these 3 are the types of solution based upon physical state of solute and solvent. Third category is based upon the amount of solute that dissolves in a given amount of solvent. First one, unsaturated solution. Second one, saturated solution, and the third one is supersaturated solution. So before starting it, let us take an example. For example, you want to prepare a simple solution, sugar and water. Sugar and water. So you take some amount, a proper amount of solvent. Let us take 1 glass of water, and you're going to start some amount of sugar in it. Of course, sugar is dissolvable in water, so it will be easily dissolved in water. And that solution where sugar is easily dissolved in water, that solution is termed as unsaturated solution. Saturated one, when you are going to dissolve sugar in water and then you are putting more amount of sugar in the same amount of water, then one point will come where no more sugar will be dissolved in the given amount of water. You are taking only 1 glass of water and you are going to add more amount of sugar in it, then one time will come when no more amount of sugar, meaning that is solute, is dissolvable in the given amount of solvent that you have taken, water. That solution is termed as saturated solution. Third one, which is supersaturated solution, that is the after of saturated ones. When solution is containing more amount of solute than its saturation point. What was saturation point? The point where no more solute is dissolvable in a given amount of solvent at a given temperature. At a given temperature means if you disturb the temperature, then the saturation point will also differ. So these three are the types of solution depending upon amount of solute in a proper given amount of solvent. Now the term concentration. Concentration means, concentration of solution means what amount of solute is dissolvable in given amount of solvent. We can calculate that amount of solute which is dissolvable in the given amount of solvent. So concentration may be written as the amount of solute divided by amount of solution or amount of solvent. So the term concentration can be calculated by various methods. The first method is mass by mass. It is written also as M by M. It means that we have taken mass of solute in gram divided by the mass of solution and multiplied by the 100. Let us apply this formula on the statement here. The statement is a solution have 50 gram of common salt in 450 gram of water. The solution is containing 50 gram of common salt and 450 gram of water. You have to calculate concentration. So we can apply this formula here. Mass by mass, that is mass of solute divided by mass of solution and multiplied by 100. So first we judge what amount of mass of solute is given in the statement and what amount of mass of solution is given in the statement. We have 50 gram of common salt and 450 gram of water. So by seeing the amount, you may judge that the common salt is solute. So amount of solute, which is common salt, is equal to 50 gram. The second thing, amount of solvent, which is 450 gram. So what will be the total amount of solution which is basically mixing of these two. So 50 plus 450, 500. Now put these three values in this formula, then you will get answer. 50 divided by 500 multiplied by 100. What will you get? 10%. So 10% is a concentration to show the solution is containing 50 gram of common salt in 450 gram of water. This solution is 10% concentrated. So second method to calculate concentration of solution is mass by volume. So here mass by volume means the mass of solute is taken in gram divided by the volume of solution in milliliter and multiplied by 100. So we will apply this formula on this statement. A solution of sugar and water is prepared by addition of 2 gram of sugar and 50 ml of water. So you may see here sugar here is acting as a solute and water is solvent. So you may apply this formula M by V, which is equal to mass of solute. That mass of solute which is given in the statement is 2 divided by volume of solution. When we add the sugar in 50 ml of water, the solution which will be prepared will be the same amount as it was of the water, 50 ml. There will be no increase in the solution amount. So 2 divided by volume of solution means 50 and multiply it by 100, then you will get answer 2%. Sometimes a student question that why the addition of this 2 and 50 will not be taken here. So you might have observed that when you take 1 glass of water and you're dissolving some amount of sugar in that, then the remaining final solution will be 1 glass only. The same thing will be applied here. If we take your 50 ml of water to prepare a solution of 2 grams sugar in it, the final solution will be has the same volume that was of the water, that is 50 ml. Third method to calculate concentration of solution is volume by volume. So when volume of solute in ml is divided by volume of solution in milliliter also multiplied by 100, then the term is known as V by V or volume by volume. Let us take one example to elaborate it. If a solution is having 100 ml alcohol and 300 ml of water, then what will be the concentration of the solution? Then you might have applied this formula V by V, which is division of volume of solute divided by volume of solution. So out of these two, alcohol and water, which one is solute? This alcohol is solute and this 300 ml water is solvent. So in volume of solute in the formula, we will put here 100 ml divide by volume of solution. Now they both are liquid. When you take solute is also liquid, solvent is also liquid, and your addition you're doing adding of these two liquid, the final result will be the combination of these two. So the volume of solution will be the addition of amount of solute and amount of solvent, and then multiply it by 100. So you will get the answer 25%. So these three are the methods to calculate concentration of the solution. So it is the last topic for today's lecture. So observe every point of the video carefully and attempt the given questions given in the assignment.